Hello, my name is Abigail, and on this channel I talk about books, things that make me happy, things that I'm passionate about, and right now that is reading books set in the place that I am in. This Labor Day weekend, we are going on a trip to a place my son does not know yet, so I have to be very quiet. As a matter of fact, I probably shouldn't even say the place's name in my house.
We're going to Texas.
For the next week, I will be reading books exclusively taking place in
Texas.
So let me talk about the itinerary. First of all, it is quite the drive to get there, so I have planned accordingly. I learned quite a bit from my last vlog in this style. So I have 3 main books, and then I have some backup books. I will have one on my Kindle, one that is physical, one that is audio, and then of course I will have some interchangeability throughout in case I'm the one driving, or in case I don't really want to read physically. I have some options here. So these are my 3 main books. Let's go over them. So this is one I have to get to because it is, first of all, it takes place in
Texas.
And second of all, it is one of my 7 to read before 2026. So it's important that I fit this in somewhere. And this is the perfect place. So this is a cowboy romance. Okay. So this is part of a series that is written by Jessica Peterson. There are a total of, I think, 4 or 5, but more on that later. The second book that I definitely want to read on this it's called The Drive-In, a B movie with blood and popcorn. Now, this is a horror, and I don't really know what to expect. I was up one night just Googling books that take place in
Texas?
and I just happened to find this one. Like I said, don't know anything about it. It's very strange the way it sets up. It's like the first page, it says Book Voice Publishing 2020. So I believe this was originally something else and it got like turned into this. It says first Book Voice E edition 2020. So I actually don't know if this should have been an audiobook, if I should have been enjoying this in a different format. But nevertheless, it is a short book. It is only 160 pages from start to finish. And I feel like this is easy to kill in like 2 hours. And so this is going to be one of the main books. However, this is not the only thing that I hope to read on this device. Once again, more on that later. Now, you may be saying, Abigail, your 7 to read in 2026 contained a Kristen Hanna, but it wasn't this one. What's going on? I have got the 4 Winds. Once again, while I was up one night Googling books that take place,
Texas!
I just happened to find this one. And the reason that I am going to read this one first, despite The Nightingale being on my 7 to read in 2026, that one doesn't take place in
Texas.
And this one does. So this one takes place in 1921, and it's a historical fiction, which I really enjoyed the last time I did a vlog like this. I enjoyed my historical fiction the most. Some slight tech issues there. My little microphone died, but I was saying that I really enjoyed the last historical fiction that I read, and I'm hoping that I love this one just the same. But I find sometimes if historical fiction isn't written well, now again, I've never read a Kristen Hanna before, so I can't say for sure that it's going to be this way, but I find sometimes a historical fiction can be clunky, which is why I feel like this is a really well balanced TBR. I have this, and then this one is probably my most anticipated of the 3. And then of course this fun short book, which I believe will be a relatively quick read. And if by some miracle I finish all of this, so I mentioned Cash, and I mentioned how there are some other books in the series. I just happen to have Wyatt, which was recently published as a physical copy with these beautiful sprayed edges. So I have this that I can pick up. Now, I did look on Kindle Unlimited, and it looks like only so there's a total of 5 in this series, and there's only 3 that are published to date. These 2, and then 1 more. So if need be, I can grab that one, and then if all else fails, I have all 3 of these on my Kindle. These two, and then the third one that I mentioned. In case you were wondering, that third book is called Sawyer. And just because sometimes if I am sitting in the car, I could get car sick if I'm reading something physically. And in addition to that, the other thing is a decent portion of this travel is going to be done at night. We intend to leave at like 3 in the morning, so it's important that I have like a Kindle read because I'm not going to be able to see to read something physically at 3 in the morning. So these are the main three, and I do have some backup plans ready to go should I, by some miracle, finish all three of these. So, of course, anytime you're going on vacation, you pack the fun stuff first. So, let me show you what I have packed. I have this book sleeve, which I thought would be super perfect for, well, all of the books, but especially the two romances. And then I have the cowboy romance. Now, I don't have a special bookmark for my historical fiction, but I will figure something out. Probably just like a simple bookmark or something. And maybe I should just keep it simple and just have the one, but my brain wants to coordinate so bad. I will update you when I have read something, and I'm really looking forward to this. Today is Monday. We have all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, all day Thursday. I'm going to get my sister on Thursday after work. And then we are leaving at 3 in the morning on Friday. So we're really, really pushing our luck here by not having anything done. And the thing is that I can't really do anything because my son doesn't know yet. So it's not like I can be like, hey, grab your suitcase. So it's like this really strange balance of trying to keep it hush hush. Like, we're leaving in 3 days. And all I have decided at this point is what books to bring and the bookmark and book sleeve. We had initially intended to leave at like 3 a.m. and we failed miserably. We did leave while it was still dark, so I was able to use my Kindle for about 2.5 minutes. I quickly realized that was not the vibe, switched over to cash, and found this magical line that says, I've been up since 3. Same. Me too, bitch. I did try my very best to capture each one of the now entering, now leaving state signs. I wasn't able to do it for all of them, but I was able to do it for most of them. So here's us leaving Florida and a bunch of people taking pictures of it. Somewhere in our journey, it decided to rain, but we got a small reprieve in this tunnel, which I'm not gonna lie, freaked me out a little bit. While we didn't enter Texas, we did see Texas Street, and we have now entered Sweet Home, Alabama. Welcome to Louisiana. Then on I-10, we discovered we were literally going down the bayou for like 18.9 miles, literally traveling down the bayou. So of course we had to put on Princess on the Frog, going down the bayou. we are entering Texas. Trying Black Rock coffee for the first time. We thought it was pretty good. The atmosphere was pretty awesome. And I got a Mai Tai at 8 in the morning. Non-alcoholic though. We visited a local thrift store where we found bullshit, special shit, no shit. I thought those seasonings were really fun. And then we went to another coffee shop where I got another energy beverage. I found some books in there. I thought that was cool. And then the next day we went to Hellcat Coffee where the coffee was all right, I guess. I mean, I've had better. I truly do not know what possessed us to go to the Kima Boardwalk on such a rainy day, but we did in fact go. We were rained out for quite a bit, but we went to Bubba Gump, which is a reference to Run Forest Run, my husband's favorite movie, so that was really awesome for him. The vibes and the atmosphere were really cool. They had like a lot of fun references to the movie, and one of our favorite parts was like the license plates everywhere. The red means we want attention from the waiter, and the blue means we don't. Here is a look at the menu. And my sister and I got I think it was a margarita. I don't know. It was good though. There were license plates all over the entire building, and what was really awesome about it is we actually had an old one kicking around in our car, and we got to all sign it, and it went on the wall, which was awesome. Here's my little margarita. Then we went to some of the shops on the Kima Boardwalk. We were waiting for it to stop raining. I got some sour jelly beans, and I also got this cappuccino because it looked like my cat. My son ended up picking up this Warhead sour blue raspberry soda, and here are my little sour jelly beans. And here's a view from the boardwalk as it's still kind of raining. Literally right as we were about to pack it up and go because we hadn't been able to ride any rides because it was raining, it finally opened up and we got to do everything we wanted to do, including this little train ride, which was kind of cute. It was nice to relax on it and see a little bit of the history. Now leaving Kima Boardwalk. The next day, we went to a Mexican restaurant called the Big Sombrero with my grandparents, and we got a flight of margaritas. It was really good. Then we went to a restaurant in Louisiana, crazy about crawfish. It was good. We had little beignet bites, and then we went to PJ's Coffee of New Orleans and we got more beignets because when in Louisiana, I have to be super, super honest with you. So I've been back from Texas for a little while now, and I didn't get to read as much as I had hoped I would while I was in Texas. I knew that that was likely a possibility, especially because I was going to be with family, and it was a family centered vacation. I was seeing family, going with my family, doing family things. I knew that reading was not going to be the number one priority, but still, I was disappointed in myself when I left Texas and was trying to finish books in the car on my way home. So here is what I did. I finished Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. I will say I listened to this on audiobook because I felt like the quickest way I was going to be able to get through this, and this was not fair. This was not fair to Kristen Hanna because I was hoping that Kristen Hanna would be a good author for me, and I don't feel like I gave this book a fair shake. I listened to it on audio, and I fell asleep. Um, we were driving for 12 plus hours. It is fairly normal for me to be tired, but I fell asleep. So I missed like at least half an hour of this book, and I don't even know what portion that I fell asleep in because I fell asleep, woke up, and I didn't even realize that I had fallen asleep until later when my husband told me I fell asleep. So I'm not sure if I can count this as read. I'm going to count it as read because I read the majority of it. Very disappointed in myself that I didn't read the whole thing, and I'm even more disappointed that I bought the physical copy to end up just picking it up on audio anyway. However, I did pick it up on Hoopla, so it's fine. It's not really fine, but it's fine. This book, truth be told, was a tough one. It was tough because we were dealing with very, very heavy topics. I knew that going into it, but I guess because I didn't know the synopsis, because I don't hardly ever like to know synopsis before I pick a book up, I didn't know what I was getting into. And I will say that's not necessarily a bad thing because I do usually like to go into things knowing very little so that, because if I had read the back, I'm fairly certain that if I had read the back of this book prior to picking it up, as with most books, it would have spoiled something. So I typically read like the first couple lines. So right here, Texas, 1921, a time of abundance. The Great War is over. The bounty of land is plentiful, and America is on the brink of a new and optimistic era. That's all I wanted to know. That's it. Because had I continued reading, I would have seen, yep, yep, I would have seen that they end up leaving Texas. Maybe I should have read this. Maybe I should have read the back of the book because I was a little disappointed to discover that they did, in fact, leave Texas and they did go to California, which is stated right there on the back. So had I read the back, I would have known. But I digress. There's other parts of this that I am grateful that I didn't read because like I said, it would have spoiled something for me. I'm not sure I knew just how heavy this book was. And not that that's a bad thing because I do find that I want my historical fiction to be more hard hitting, more heavy. I don't want to read a light, fluffy, contemporary historical fiction because if I wanted a light and fluffy contemporary, I would have picked up a light and fluffy contemporary. So I think I enjoyed this book for what it was. This is a 3.5-star book for me. I think that it could have gotten that full 4 stars had I remained awake. So here is my confession. I cheated by taking a nap. It was an accident. I apologize. Please forgive me. Confession slash apology number 2. I also ended up picking up The Drive-In, a B movie with blood and popcorn made in Texas, also on audiobook because when I was on my way back, not only was I tired, I was also a little nauseous. So reading was not really in the cards for me. So I wasn't reading on my Kindle, and so I also grabbed this one on audio. This one is significantly more shameful because I paid for the ebook and the audiobook. I paid for them both. What are you going to do? So my thoughts are this was a time. I felt like this book dragged on. Considering it is a 5-hour audiobook and I don't even know how many page ebook, I don't understand how this book took so freaking long to get through. And horror isn't necessarily my go-to genre. So this specific brand of horror anyway, which I would consider to be like, I don't know, weird. I don't know, weird. Weird horror isn't necessarily my favorite. I usually like regular types of horror, slightly less weird. If you've read this book, you know what I mean by weird. This book is weird. If you don't want to be spoiled, go ahead and skip until I put my hand down. There's some weird shit with like a popcorn king, and he's like spitting out popcorn kernel teeth, and like they're stuck in this movie theater and they can't get out, and all they have to eat is like fucking movie theater snacks and candy, and so people are not healthy, and like weird shit is happening. There's a lot of foul language, and I don't mean like fuck. I'm not offended by fuck, but like racial slurs were in this, and I'm not sure. I believe I forgot when this takes place. I know it's not current, but it doesn't matter. The amount of slurs that were in this was jarring, even for that time period, whatever time period it was. This book was just not a good time for me. Not a good time. And I don't know how to cope with it. So, Cliff Notes, if you're thinking about reading this book, from what I just said in my little spoiler section, a lot of slurs, a lot of racial slurs. I didn't have fun with it. I, I don't even know if I have the words to describe what I read, but whatever it was not a good time. I will not be continuing on. There was like 3 total parts to it. I'm not I'm not continuing. I don't know what the fuck that was, but it wasn't for me. The final book that I picked up for this, I have not completed yet. So this vlog is not going to end quite yet. Despite this being my number one priority, like in my heart, I just was not vibing with it at the time. And I don't know if that was I was excited to be going to Texas, or if the story just wasn't resonating with me, or if I was just kind of like, because there is a cowboy romance that is, or a country like sort of romance that's releasing very soon. I'm not sure if I was just like not wanting to read this one because I didn't want it to put me in a bad headspace for that one. I'm not sure what it was, but we are on page 144 out of 408. So I'm not DNFing it. I'm just not reading it to completion at this time. I do feel like I have a little bit more time before I have to close this and call it a DNF. So I intend to continue to read it. So this vlog is continuing a little bit past Texas, but that's okay because the Washington D.C. vlog continued a couple days past Washington D.C. So Texas, being a bigger place, gets to continue also. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. Finally, concluding the Texas vlog, very happy to be able to do so. I finished Cash by Jessica Peterson. I would say that this is a solid book. I'm glad that I picked this one up, and I am glad that I have the second one, though I do not have plans currently to jump right into the second one at the moment. I do have other reading plans for this fall season. However, Cash was a very strong start to what I feel will be a very good ranch series. I enjoy myself a little cowboy ranch world. I do enjoy such things, such small pleasures as the Gold Rush Ranch series and Rebel Boo Ranch. So I'm excited to live in the Lucky River Ranch for some time. I'm a little bummed that I didn't get to read them straight, but I wasn't going to be able to get to read them straight anyway, because this one only has a couple of them published, whereas everything else that I've read had already been fully published by the time that I got around to it. So it was never in the cards. There we have it, finally concluding my Texas vlog. I definitely have a favorite. This is a close second. I think that I do need to give this a more fair shot and either re-listen or potentially like read it physically. I think that would also be good for me. And we definitely have a absolutely least favorite dumpster fire garbage. So be that as it may, I did spend my weekend or week, really, well, about a week, reading my little Texas books, and I am pleased with the outcome for at least 2 of them. So we will call it a success. All right, that is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, I have fantastic news. I love filming vlog content. It's pretty much all I film. So you are in luck. I enjoy filming it because I enjoy consuming it, and I hope that you enjoy consuming this video. I will see you in the next one.